Good morning, everyone. I am Elaine Forbes, and I am the Executive Director of the Port, and it's wonderful to see everyone here today. This is a very important moment for the Port of San Francisco, for the city, for the Dogpatch neighborhood, and for the future of our city. And this moment really started a long time ago. 20 years ago, Port staff began a master planning process, and I see some of the folks that started that process in the room today. Byron Rhett is here, David Beaupre. When I first saw Pier 70 7 years ago, I thought, interesting place, very beautiful, a lot of deferred maintenance. How in the world will we get this place rehabilitated for the public? How can we protect the port's balance sheet from this deferred maintenance? And but we had some early adopters in this room that really could see beauty where others saw decay and really saw potential. And that was extremely important for the future of this place. I would like to say, some people say government doesn't get things done. Quite to the contrary. We have the tenacity and the creativity and the belief in something that takes 20 years to complete and to do it right. So I'm very, very proud of the collaboration of Port staff with all the city departments to make this a reality, that we're at the point where we can sign documents today. And I want to say, before I turn it over to our VIP guest, a very special thanks to Ken Rich from OEWD. Ken. Ken really took a lot of time to understand the port's point of view and the other city departments' points of view, the developers' points of view, and to find collaboration and to find solutions when things got hard, and you never took your eye off the ball, and you were a great partner, Ken, and I'm so thankful that you were leading this effort and the collaboration between our city departments. So this thing that started 20 years ago is going to result in affordable housing, connection to the Bay that's been lost to the residents for 100 years, arts spaces, creative spaces, PDR, and merely it's going to be a place for everyone, the kind of city that you demand that our departments create. So we're very proud that we've kept faithful to your desire for the city. And with that, I would like to introduce our mayor, who has been the custodian of this project and has seen it through to this day. Mayor Lee.
Well, thank you, Elaine, for not only your leadership, your work here at the Port, and to all the staff and commission, because the Port's really an exciting place. A lot of things happening, and I want to let you know that I'll be working very closely with you as we talk with the public about one of the most important infrastructure projects that we have that the Port's going to lead, and that's, of course, the protection and the rebuilding of our seawall. Because that's something that we will find very near and dear if we get information out. But the Port has become not just a place for business. It really is a place because of this leadership and Byron and all the others working, and Ben, Mr. Benson here, and so many others, that it's now become a place for families and people to really enjoy the entire city. And our signing today, because of Supervisor Cohen, because of Jack Sylvain, because of all the others, allows us to do something that oftentimes we don't get to do. You know, when you go down to Pier 70, views and access are basically blocked by abandoned historic buildings. And that blockage has not been very good for all of us. And I know a few years ago, when Jack was working with Jennifer Matz and some of the other great people, along with Ken Rich and others, he got me down to a concert of all places, some music concert down there. And then we walked around the area and we got excited with Made in SF and some of the other events that we held down there. And we finally, for ourselves, were discovering how beautiful it was and how blocked it was. Planning knows this. That's why they're here today, because the role of the Port and planning and all the people here working alongside Forest City and Jack now, who, by the way, want to say a little praise to Jack, because I know I worked with him on Treasure Island for many years. He didn't see that going too fast, so I think he jumped, went over to Forest City and got something done. But he's in that spirit that we really wanted to get things done here that finally opened up access for everybody. And Pier 70 project, it's all about that. It's about rediscovering what San Francisco is and bringing all the people in that area together to enjoy 9 additional acres of parks and rebuild with a lot of respect those historic buildings, make them useful. There's a lot of quiet artists that have been out there because nobody paid attention. And so we want to bring attention to the fact that they've been out there, and we're going to work with Forest City to make sure, and they've committed to making sure there's an art center out there, a community center will be built. And of course, as part of my agenda, along with Supervisor Cohen's agenda, we're going to build a lot of housing in that area, thousands of units of housing, but 30% permanently affordable. That means minimum of 500 units are going to be permanently affordable in years to come. A lot of commitments that were made by Forest City. Let me take the opportunity to thank Kevin Ratner and Forest City for all the work that you do. Your representatives are in there working with the supervisor, making sure that if we're going to present a project this magnitude, it had to have the community-based benefits that everybody would enjoy. And in particular, and that's why Josh is here as well, Josh Arce, he's on City Build. There's a really basic commitment that we're going to see through. That is, a lot of residents of District 10 are going to be able to work on this, just like we're getting the work on the Chase Arena Center, some of the others. This project is not only going to be great for housing, for land use, for art, for open space, but it also will create the kind of jobs that we want. It'll also create revenue to contribute to the sea level rise challenges and the seawall. In fact, I think we're estimating maybe over the 10 years, probably $1 billion of contributions to the seawall. And I think they're going to support us on another ferry service there at the end of 16th Street. This is all wonderful, wonderful attributes that I have to attribute to the people who've been working on this for over a decade. And I want to say thank you, because this is why it was fairly easy for Supervisor Cohen to get a unanimous vote, because all she had to do was get in there, get the benefits. You know, it's easy. It's like all the projects that she does. So I want to say thank you to her, because everybody does get the benefit from this. And I feel strongly about this because we haven't opened up a lot of this area of the southern waterfront to everybody. It's been closed out, later on after this. And of course, we're looking at Treasure Island as well. But we also have other projects that will open up the waterfront. Where's Mission Rock, the Potrero Power Plant to the south, the parklands that we're beginning to identify with the blue-green trails that will dot it all the way through. You're going to see multiple transit opportunities for people to access, along with the housing and the jobs. So we're very excited about this. A lot of great benefits, but it took a while. And it took a while to make sure everybody respected the historic buildings, reused them. It takes a while for historic preservation to also catch up with development. And in this area, it's not only going to catch up, we're going to pay a lot of respect, because that is part of our city's history. And to respect that means to reuse these buildings and also respect the architecture and the design for that history. I mentioned Jennifer Matz's name intentionally because she was part of the team that worked with the port so well, that brought so much, I think, enjoyment to these projects. And Jack had a great time working with her as well in the same team. And that's the same team that Ken Rich is coming from. So all of that team continues to do wonderful work with the port. So they've given me a list of names to make sure I mention. So they were in my notes, and I want to make sure I say every name because I should, as the mayor, to recognize people who have minimally 6 to 10 years working on a project and brought to it the final conclusion that has not only a unanimous vote at the board, but a continued for the next 10 years phased development that will, I think, be honored by not only the immediate residents, but the entire city will be welcome to come down here and enjoy all of the attributes that have been negotiated and will be part of it. So Elaine Forbes, you and your staff, Brad Benson, Christine Maher, Mike Martin, Rebecca Benassini, Kevin Masuda, along with Byron Rett. From the Office Workforce Economic Development course, Todd Rufo, Ken Rich, Sarah Dennis Phillips, Tom Shanahan, Kat Daniels, Joyce Wong, Ken Nim, Mark Majors, Patrick Mitchell. Getting you through this. John Ram, of course, and Dan Siders here. Rich Sukra, Josh Switsky, Melinda Hugh, Rick Cooper, and Manoj Madhavan. City Attorney's Office, they've been working a lot on language. A lot of things had to be balanced. A lot of things had to make sure. And in fact, I want to thank him because usually we get some lawsuits. No lawsuits on this one. Nothing to delay us. Everything to go forward. And so thank you to the city attorneys for being at our side and working in drafts. Joanne Sakai, Grace Park, Eileen Mali, Marlena Byrne, Andrea Ruiz Esqueda, Chris Tom, and Kate Stacy. They had a host of other agencies that supported them. Our MTA, our Municipal Transit Agency, our Public Utilities Agency, our Public Works, and of course our Contract Monitoring Division, all had dedicated staffers that contributed to this project. All in all, the best projects are the ones where there's a tremendous amount of collaboration, a good trusting relationship with the developers so they know we're not trying to rake them over the coals and take money that isn't from them deservingly, but that their contributions will be honored with our execution of this project. That's how we get projects done. We can't get them done without a supervisor who's going to champion it along with the mayor. And let me introduce our supervisor, Malia Cohen. Thank you. You feel better for the day?
Oh my goodness. Today's Wednesday morning, which means that yesterday was Tuesday, which means we had a board meeting. I'm still in shell shock, right? But good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see everyone today. We've really come to celebrate and to kind of pat ourselves on the back. It's been a tremendous lift. This project has been in development for 10 years, and I have been a part of it, certainly in earnest, for the last 3 years. Everyone looks good. You look good in the suit. I love it. And but I really want to tell you what you've heard. You know about the economic benefit to San Francisco, and we were really fortunate to live and to work in San Francisco. But I really want to talk a little bit about the community impact, what a project of this magnitude actually means. It means, coming from a native San Franciscan, that we have an opportunity to interface with a beautiful shoreline that really has been locked away. When you go into the Dogpatch neighborhood, it's almost like you're relegated to just the 3rd Street corridor and maybe one block and a half, depending on what side of 3rd you're on. And that's it. You can see the water, you can see the East Bay in the distance, but you're not able to touch it. You're not able to bring your kids to experience it. And this project begins to break down those man-made barriers and open it up. And the significance of Pier 70 is that it's going to be connecting from where we are in the Embarcadero all the way along the southern waterfront, past the Pier 70 project into the Bayview community. This is a tremendous project to get through. And I want to recognize the mayor already gave them the names, called the names because we remember. But I don't think you guys understand how many hours of public comment, how many hours of neighborhood meetings. And then just right before you get to a vote, you literally spend the weekend with the city attorney drafting amendments, making changes. And then that's when you begin to talk to the colleagues, you're interacting with colleagues prior to this because you need to bring them along to make sure they're knowledgeable about the project so that they will vote for it. And that is where the challenge really lies. Balancing your colleagues' perspective and what they want to see with the reality of what can actually be done, with the reality of what your constituents want to see. And I think that is where the rub is. I'm very proud to be on the team that has steered the ship to make this come to fruition. This is a significant accomplishment. Pier 70 will deliver, this project will deliver a tremendous asset in public space, open space, office, retail space, affordable housing, I mean, you name it. And I've got to admit, I wish that there were more development projects that got it. This team got it right out the gate. They got it correct. They went to the constituents that were affected in the area and they said, what do you want to see? How can we help you? What can we develop that's complementary to your neighborhood? Everything from drawing figures, which was an interesting way to take notes, but it's a new fad, to beating back an appeal. If y'all, most of the people in this room have been dealt with development and you know how challenging it is. I don't want to belabor the issue, but I just want to come out here and to pay my respects because many of you have lost a lot of time on your life on this project. It's the truth. This was not easy, and I don't know where Kevin is. Where's Kevin? Is he somewhere around here? Okay. Spent a lot of time on the phone with him as the project lead. The port entire team and family is phenomenal. Elaine, you have a phenomenal team here. Mr. Mayor, you have a great team in the City Hall too, not only the planning department, but also your economic development thinkers and your workforce builders. We need this because this city is transforming and it's changing, and we need to make sure that we're not leaving anyone behind. That is a fear that people have, particularly people a little south of this project. And I think the mayor and this team has demonstrated that we are not in the business of excluding people, but including people and widening the tent and making sure that everyone has an opportunity to speak, be heard, and be present and be a part of this project. So frankly, it gives me great pleasure as a second-term supervisor in my 7th year, a reform member of the Land Use Committee, to be able to come out and to celebrate, to christen this project. It's been an incredible, difficult, contrary to what the mayor said. He made it sound like it was easy. And I'm sure from his vantage point it was. But I'm here to tell you that shit was hard. It's hard. It's difficult. But you know, when you have a team of professionals, it makes it a little bit easier. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that worked on this project, from the lobbyist on down to the person that was at the neighborhood meetings. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Supervisor. You said so many important points, and you led a process that was not appealed at the end. An actual development project of 28 acres that did not have opposition. So it was hard getting there, but my goodness, we certainly got there, and thank you so much for your leadership. So to do this, we certainly had our vision and our plan, but we absolutely needed our partner to do it. Someone to put up at-risk capital up, to find private investment, to endeavor with us through all of those hard meetings and many, many requests for a public benefits package that I think is bar none, that really is something noteworthy for other projects to see. And I say it's a 20-year process because we did the planning process first, but 10 years ago we selected Forest City. And that was the moment where everything really got going and we began to see what was in our heads to something that could be real in the ground. We're so fortunate to have selected Forest City as our development partner. And I'd like to introduce Jack Sylvan, who has led the project. Jack.
This is really happening. Thank you very much for all the kind words for our team and where we've gotten to. This really is a special opportunity, and the chairman of our board, James Ratner, tried last minute to get out here from New York last night and wasn't able to, but when I asked him, what do you think is really important for me to communicate from you? He said, please pass on that we really believe that this is one of the greatest projects, the greatest opportunities in the country. They see some projects as they're traveling around. It's been said, just the amazing amount of people and energy and time that goes into getting a project like this just to this point. The collaboration, the dedication, the commitment, the fighting, the haggling, the finding common ground as we get to a place like this. And mostly I just want to pass on from Forest City the gratitude that we feel for being at this point, the opportunity to jump in and take what has been on paper and turn it into a reality. That starts really with the mayor. Thank you for your unwavering support from the beginning of the process. It's obviously been crucial to get to this point. It will continue to be crucial as we actually start implementing the project. Supervisor Cohen, you're right. It was a lot of really challenging work, and your commitment and your leadership along the way was crucial. And it actually, I would say, more than 3 years. I think you've been at it for quite a while. And particularly over this last stretch, Yo-Yo Chan, among the rest of the supervisor's staff, has been really an incredible partner in helping shepherd the project through what at times can be an unpredictable political approvals process. The Port Commission, who has also throughout this just been really a believer in the vision and the opportunity. And of course, part of that stems from the leadership that Director Forbes, you've provided. You really stepped into your new role seamlessly and provided the direction that we needed over the last couple of years to get through our difficult moments and arrive at where we are. There have been so many talented and dedicated folks. I think both the mayor and Supervisor Cohen have alluded to folks who have sunk in years and hours. That includes the Office of Economic and Workforce Development and Ken Rich and Sarah Dennis Phillips, who with tenacity and creativity really guided us through the various city agencies that are involved in this. Of course, the port staff. I think the mayor named most of them, and I just want to give a special shout out to my adversary and colleague, Brad Benson. You really have, it's been a pleasure working with you most of the time. The planning department, Director Ram, Dan, who's here, the environmental planning team, it's really been a great partnership, and we feel like there was a mutual buy-in to the vision and that we think is going to pay dividends in the project. I want to make sure that we take the opportunity to thank some folks who aren't here from the neighborhood, the Dogpatch Neighborhood Association, who's, I think, been about the best community partner that you could ask for on a development project in a place like San Francisco. The Noonan artists, who have really embraced what is necessary change and that will land them in a new place with, we think, great opportunity. The Potrero Boosters, who also have been partners and supporters along the way. The Central Waterfront Advisory Group, who have been at it for as long as the port has been at it. Our Forest City team, which folks don't often see. Really, I am honored to work with a great group of folks, and I want to give a special shout out to Kelly Pretzer, who isn't here, but she's really been amazing. And our consultant team, which there's too many to name, but I want to give a special thanks to Karen Johnston and Michael Cohen, who have been great partners along the way for us. So we're exceptionally proud of where we've arrived at, and in some ways the work is just beginning to create something that we can all be proud of. I really look forward to the day when I can bring my now year-and-a-half-old daughter out to show her the great things that were created from the collaboration and the hard work and the creativity And Forest City is, as a company, is really committed to being a great civic partner, to create something great that the community deserves and the city deserves, and to be a great financial partner with the Port of San Francisco, and to make this a success for the port. So thank you so much, and let's go roll up our sleeves and get it done.
Mr. Mayor, if you could now sign the legislation that will allow us to get this 28 acres open to the bay for the community, we very much appreciate it. Yes. If
Let's start turning the dirt.
they say it will be February.
We're actually hoping January.
There you go. Let's get done.
Right.